Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.
Every morning I get up before that rooster crows, headed straight to somewhere I don't even want to go. Eggs and bacon in my belly and a Folgers coffee.
Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and I'm Karl Gerber. Do you know why Google changed its mobile browser? Well, I don't. You want to tell me? And don't tell me there's some mobile AMP conspiracy along with some amped up Twitter fiends' worst enemies. Yeah, if your webpage isn't mobile amped, you're going to be a casualty in the dust. As usual, this is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, heard every Sunday from 7 to 8 o'clock at this time on this station. I'm Karl Gerber. I really am a real employee lawyer licensed in 4 states. And when I'm not making jokes, I'm representing employees. So anyways, I'm here in studio tonight with yet another guest. I don't know too much about her. And she's sitting across from me. I know her name, though. That's a little bit better than usual. Well, I just know her first name. Desiree needs help preparing for her deposition, and I agreed to help because her lawyer, Dombass, from episode 18, is not capable.
Is it a good idea for me to be doing this deposition preparation on a major Los Angeles talk show radio station?
No, it is not. If your employer's lawyers catch wind of this broadcast, they'll know all of the problems with your case.
Then why are we doing this?
Because you are a fictional character.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Odd.
My deposition is tomorrow. I'm going to find the building it is in and get there right after this show.
I advise the best night's sleep possible. I'm not sure how you could mentally concentrate if you arrive at your deposition 14 hours early.
Well, my deposition is in Century City, and I live in North Hollywood. It takes about 1 hour to go from Coldwater and Victory to the other side of Ventura Boulevard. So at least an hour to get up Coldwater Canyon to Mulholland, and another hour or so to get to Sunset Boulevard easily, and at least 45 minutes to get to Century City from there.
Which building is the deposition in?
It's one of the Century Towers.
Oh, I'm getting it now. It will take you at least a half hour to park, another half hour to get to the building from the parking lot. You should also add at least a half an hour for the security check-in at the garage, where they check your trunk, and the security check-in and the elevators. How much time do we have figured here?
5 hours and 15 minutes, but I'll probably need to use the bathroom before I start the deposition.
Yes, I do advise using the bathroom after a 5.25 hour drive, maybe 12 miles.
I guess I could leave my house at 4:45 in the morning to get to the deposition at 10 a.m.?
I don't know. That's kind of close.
Do you advise I sleep in my car or get up at 3 a.m. and try to get from North Hollywood to Century City by 10?
Maybe Dombass should have brought a motion for a protective order protecting you from the unwarranted annoyance and harassment of having to drive to Century City, have your trunk searched for you to be ID'd upon arrival and your license to remain in the database of a building so the information can be hacked. Oh, I forgot about the parking.
Database?
Yeah. Do you think these high-rise security kiosks tell a high-rise regular like me I'm already in their system once I hand over my CDL for nothing?
Yeah, I do need protection. I heard employment defense lawyers like to make plaintiffs show up for depositions in buildings with the most expensive parking in the world.
Hey, get this. I encountered a $56 a day in downtown San Diego last year, not even San Francisco or New York City.
I did a GoFundMe page for the parking fees for my deposition, but I didn't get any donors. I ended up going to a payday advance place yesterday to get $56 for parking.
I advise all plaintiffs to eat and drink at the lunch break of their depot. You need to be properly nourished in order to concentrate.
I don't know if I'll be able to eat. I'll probably be too nervous.
Yeah, I have heard that from quite a few clients.
How much should I bring for food?
I have other concerns. You look like someone who actually doesn't eat 51 grams of fat melted meat concoctions at lunch and chips with 21 grams of fat. Most of the time, the available nourishment in the deposition corridor is highly unhealthy, likely to lead to a cardiac failure or aneurysm within really no time at all.
I am glad you're telling me all of this. Do you think I can handle it?
High-rise lunch experiences?
I am kind of familiar with the problem, but the job I'm suing was in Century City.
Okay, you know the drill. 30-minute line, 5 minutes of noisy food service workers talking when you're in front of the cash register, 10 minutes of them doing a little side work instead of serving you, 25 minutes to get your food, indigestion, trying to guzzle it down in less than 60 seconds because you've got to get back. I think the point of this is to make you late getting back from lunch.
Kind of like a conspiracy?
Absolutely.
Let's just say I wait in line. I won't find a table. I am not camping out on the sidewalk in business clothes and having people think or walk over me. Can I bring my food back to the deposition room?
Well, you can if you do make zero conversation with somebody from the defense firm. Also make sure to clean up since they'll be videotaping you. And I do not recommend food debris in the video.
I didn't think of that.
Yes, this is why they call me an expert in employment law.
Do you think 60 will cover my lunch?
Now, that's a tough one. I'd bring 100 just in case. You want to buy coffee. Well, actually, if you get a headache and have to buy Tylenol, that can be quite a bit of money in an underground pharmacy.
Gee, there are that many depositions going on at once? There's a business selling Tylenol in the ladies' room?
I'm not sure about that. I was rather referring to the gift stores and those office towers, which are often in the basement in Century City. One Tylenol might be $9.99 or something like that, but also tax.
Oh, jeez. What should my total budget be for parking and lunch and maybe something from the pharmacy?
Yeah, you might also cry and need tissues. I generally supply my clients tissues, but I don't think Dombass will.
I think that would be a case cost he does in advance, right?
I'm pretty sure Dombass could charge you $10 for Kleenex. Actually, I don't consider tissues a case cost. It should come out of a client's settlement.
Why did I go to Dombass?
I have absolutely no idea.
How should I dress for the deposition?
Since you worked in an office, I'd recommend something you're comfortable wearing to work.
Okay, I'm going to wear a skirt and a jacket.
Sounds professional.
How high of a heel is appropriate?
Since you're going to be wearing heels, I'm going to recommend you put your heels in your handbag. I would put them on once you get to the elevator to the office. Don't do it at the parking elevator. Wear tennis shoes until you get to the last elevator. You'll be walking, I'd say, a few miles from where you park underneath the building to the parking elevator. Another few miles underground and then more on the escalators.
This is good. I'll get in my steps. I won't have to go on the treadmill tomorrow.
Yes, those things are evil. Did you know that I actually murdered one?
You murdered something?
Yes, I beat the evil treadmill.
How do you know if a treadmill is evil?
Oh, they all are. They try to suck the life out of you, get you into a sweat, your heart beating fast enough for you to have a heart attack. Like I say, not a little itty-bitty heart failure, but an epic myocardial eruption that causes your heart organ to burst through your chest cavity and fire into the goggled lenses of your heart surgeon.
On the evil, what level do you go at?
Level 12 and then down to 8.
I also do steps.
Yeah, I finally subdued that thing.
Really?
Once I had it subdued, the top broke off.
Did you try to break it?
Nah, it's an evil treadmill. It took me a few months to beat it. Now the top is held on with Allen wrenches.
Alan. He's the one who did the sexual harassment to me.
I'm referring to a tool.
He said he'd tool me.
Okay, let's get back to the preliminaries on the deposition process.
Sorry, whenever I think about the sexual harassment, it brings me back.
You're going to get there at 10 a.m. Even though you're there, I assume the defense lawyer won't enter the room until 10:15, 10:20, maybe 10:30 if they're a real jerk. They might also make you wait in their lobby.
Why?
They're trying to get the client to, pay an extra 15 to 20 minutes of those billable hours if they're late. They hope to keep the deposition going for another day. There are a million illegitimate reasons.
The defense lawyer sure sounds rude. I thought they were inviting me to their office so I could tell my story.
That's a joke. So you're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber. We're talking to a potential plaintiff in a sexual harassment case named Desiree, who's going to go to a deposition in one of the evil Century City Twin Towers that take forever to get in and out of. And I'm advising her just how much money she's going to need for the lunch situation and all that. So, depositions are pretty important in employment law. Plaintiff's depositions are really important, and the case can come and go on a plaintiff's deposition. We're going to talk more about that when we get back. If you have a real sexual harassment case, please call me at the office, 877-525-0700. Once again, 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700 for a real employee lawyer. Not a liar, a lawyer, I think that is. It will make the defense lawyer laugh and lose their train of thought, maybe. I don't know.
Because we're finally believing women. Because the best thing to do is to hire and promote and elect and vote for more women.
Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your returns, the IRS will get you. They can take your property, take you to court, even put you in jail. With one call to Wall, you'll never need to talk to the IRS again. Our average client settles for about 10% of what is owed. We offer free face-to-face consultations in your local area. Call 800-727-0433. That's 800-727-0433.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 5959 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 5959.
This fall, change your grass for the better with 10% off Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard Fall Lawn Food and Fall Weed and Feed at the Home Depot. Scott's feeds your lawn now to build strong, deep roots this winter and lush green grass next spring. Fall's the time to do it, and now's the time to save. With savings on Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard Fall Lawn Food and Fall Weed and Feed. 10% off now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Selection varies by store.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a consistent force in fighting for the rights of California employees. They've represented thousands of employees in cases in which they've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, discriminated against at work, or owed wages individually or as a group such as a class action. The Employment Lawyers Group has maintained a high win rate and a serious record before the California courts. Please call 877-525-0700 for an experienced work lawyer. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, research the firm at worklawyerca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. If you hire the Employment Lawyers Group, your legal problem becomes theirs to solve.
News. Talk. Evolve. 790 KABC.
it up before that rooster crows.
Talk Radio 790 KBC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm still Karl Gerber, and that's still my problem. Tonight I have in the studio with me live a lady named Desiree who was sexually harassed. You may remember Dombass from episode 18, a very good lawyer. Because it appeared to me her case was decent, I've agreed to help her prepare for her deposition, which is going to be in Century City, and we're going to get back to that conversation. She naively told me she thought her deposition was so she could tell her story, and I laughed. And I'm going to laugh again. Ha! First off, Desiree, you're not going to tell a story. You're going to answer a series of irrelevant questions nobody cares about, but the defense lawyer and not even the judge.
I'm really just worried about parking. Do they validate?
Are you kidding?
Alan smacked my butt. First he asked, and then he just leaned over while I was at my computer and gave me a shoulder massage.
We'll get to the facts. We're still on your arrival for this deposition.
Will you be there?
No, because I'm not your attorney. You didn't call 1-877-525-0700 for me. That's 877-525-0700, 877-525-0700 for an employee attorney who doesn't put up with defense BS. You went to Dombass.
Will he be there?
He should be sitting next to you and objecting.
Can he object to the fact that they won't validate my parking?
Knowing Dombass, he might. He can be aggressive, but objections are similar to objections made in court. But depositions, a little bit different, those objections. A legitimate lawyer can only object to the form of the question and if there is a privilege.
When I filled out interrogatories, Dombass had an objection that was 2 pages long. It had something to do with the fact that the question was insulting to him, me, and possibly my mother.
What was the question?
The spelling of my full name. Middle name and all.
First off, that objection was not appropriate. An objection of harassing might be appropriate in discovery, but not because you've been asked to spell your name. By the way, what is your last name? I don't know since you're not my client.
It's Desiree Dookie Kankanizis.
No! Are you related to Cindy D?
I wish. She's so pretty. But I don't think I'm related to Cindy D because, well, if I were, my last name is one a lot of people use when they never want anybody to pronounce it correctly.
I wasn't aware there was such a thing.
Oh, yeah. It's also possible to spell it differently each time it's pronounced.
That I have heard before on this show.
How do you know Cindy D?
She's been on the show 3 times, once disguised as Mistress Luboff.
There was one manager at the company who I trusted. He showed me her picture.
I thought Cindy D doesn't do webcam. She's just a telephone sex operator. Actually, the better question is, why would you trust a guy who was a picture of Cindy D?
Well, hey, it wasn't sexual or anything. He was at a very high-profile funeral. He wanted to get a picture of Remus Helms. Cindy D was talking to Remus Helms, the most important man in Sun Valley.
Yeah, Remus Helms has gone through some tough times lately with the death of his daughter, Anita Orchid Helms, who died of boredom at work.
I know. That was terrible. I read about it standing in line at Rite Aid. It's been in all the magazines. Okay, the Inquirer, Us, People. Wait a minute. Didn't you uncover the case on this show?
Yes, we did. I'm not quite sure what happened. I've heard a lot of things, including that Anita was spotted at the Dollar Tree on Jefferson Boulevard buying plastic orchids.
Oh, yeah. There's been lots of sightings.
Can we not get into alien abductions right now?
Come on. I meant the bar on Hollywood Boulevard, Panda Express, in Sherman Oaks. There was also a report she was checking out the street vendors at Alvarado and Wilshire after eating at Langer's Deli, going across the street to MacArthur Park to buy an ID.
I don't know about this at all.
Oh, I do. I read this.
Let's get back to the deposition.
Okay. Should I bring my own water?
I definitely recommend that. The manner in which water pitchers are washed in law firms leaves quite a bit to be desired. I have seen many people washing their hands over the empty water pitcher in the sink at the law firms.
Maybe you could blow the whistle on them?
I'm sort of wondering why no one has exposed these practices previously.
It's all on the hush-hush. By the way, what is the lawyer going to ask me?
We're not there yet.
Are we going to get there?
What color is your purse?
I'd say it's not black. Maybe like a dark blue or purple or like faded black. Well, okay. It has these little things on it. You know, when I first got it, it was violet and now it's red.
You did not answer the question.
What should I say?
Red. How your purse got red is not the question, and I certainly don't want to get into that improbability given you had a black purse. The only question is, what color is your purse? All of the other information you gave makes you sound unsure. It's also unnecessary. If you answer all the questions that way, your deposition will go on forever. Those kind of answers will lead to quite a few additional questions, and then you'll be re-asked the same question you never answered, and you will feel harassed.
My deposition will go on forever? Okay, forever is a long time.
Yeah, you have to watch out, because Dombass will also want your deposition to go on forever, because he's billing you by the hour, just like the defense lawyers.
I don't want to sound unsure like Starbright.
Tell me about it.
Okay, what else should I do?
Not play in your lawyer's objections. Dombass might make a lot of unnecessary objections. If he objects something is compound, don't answer back, yes, that is a compound question.
Like a pharmacy compound?
No. If there's more than one question, a question is compound. Obviously, lay people don't go around talking about compound questions. It makes you sound like a wise, hey, if you adopt your lawyer's objections, it makes you an unlikable witness.
How can I be a likable witness? I always hope people like me.
One of the primary reasons a legitimate defense lawyer takes a plaintiff's deposition is to see if they are a likable witness. If they're likable, they might have that defense lawyer recommending settlement to their client, because likable plaintiffs often win, even when they shouldn't.
Should I offer anything to the defense lawyer? I have a few really good metal dorsals I got as a gift.
That's a little weird. No, you'll be likable if you answer the questions directly and don't fight with the defense lawyer. Obviously, extremely strange backgrounds can also create issues.
Are they going to ask about my cotton ball collection?
Is there a reason they should ask?
I put pins through the Allen one.
There is no reason to volunteer this.
My aunt is from the islands. She cooked a lot. And she cooked something in a pot before I came here. And she put a curse on the defense lawyer.
Yeah, I can't really advocate bodily harm to the defense bar. They're pretty obnoxious, but we can't do anything like that.
Before my workers' compensation deposition, my aunt, nobody showed up to that deposition. The defense lawyer and the court reporter claimed it was a calendaring error.
Did your lawyer show up?
Of course. My aunt didn't put a curse on her.
Yeah, voodoo is not to be joked about and should never be used in order to gain a procedural or substantive advantage in litigation.
Ooh, well, I'll tell my aunt about that.
Yeah, thank you. I prefer to win legitimately. I don't know about Dombass, though. I don't do rude things to the other side just for the sake of being rude.
Wow, that's a lot different than Dombass. He told the defense lawyer my documents were on a CD-ROM. He had Lemur Jr. put files on the CD-ROM that couldn't be opened and created viruses on the other lawyer's computer.
Lemur Jr. has not been active since early 1984.
Do you think Dumas got Lemur Jr. back in the business just for my case?
No.
Is Dumas not a good lawyer?
I suggest you listen to episode 18 of his show to listen and learn about all the fraudulent practices and his lack of effort on cases. So we're still listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. We're talking about a deposition, which is supposed to be a question and answer session for people in litigation. When we come back, we're going to find out more about what a plaintiff's deposition is in employment law on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show.
Boys being boys. Realize that's just lies and misdirection. You could sputter and squawk, it's just locker room talk. Well, that works.
Wait a minute, what goes on in here?
Let these guys explain. News, talk, evolved.
Now I understand.
790 KABC.
Talk Radio 790 KABC News Update. I'm Steve Cumming. Folks in North Carolina are now worried about flooding as rivers are filled to the rim from rain from Florence. Reporter Mariana Antencio says rivers near Wilmington will take days to crest.
View River, it's expected to crest a Tuesday morning. There's nowhere for this water to go. The water behind me expected to crest on Friday.
Florence is now a tropical depression that's dumping rain on the Carolinas, Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. At least 16 people have died since Florence made landfall last week. Top Democrats in the Senate are pushing for a delay in the confirmation vote for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh following sexual assault allegations. The Judiciary Committee is scheduled to hold a vote this Thursday. KABC SoCal weather, mostly clear tonight with lows in the lower to mid-60s. Tomorrow, sunny with highs from the lower to mid-70s at the beaches to the lower to mid-80s inland. More news coming up in 30 minutes, and continuing coverage is at KABC.com. I'm Steve Cumming, Talk Radio 790 KABC News.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a results-oriented law firm whose goal is to get the client what they deserve. They've represented thousands of California employees who've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or were owed wages on an individualized or group basis, such as a class action. They have a high rate of success. There are few situations involving employment law that they have not confronted. At the forefront of employee rights, they're often the first employee law firm to confront a new legal issue. For an experienced employment lawyer, call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, read more about the firm at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Make your work problem theirs to solve.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
What do you hear? Most people just hear an engine. We hear a 6.2-liter Hemi V8 with a supercharger that accelerates so fast, it'll suck the air out of your lungs and knock you back in your seat like you're an astronaut in a rocket ship hurtling through the stratosphere. But then again, we're not most people. We're the Brotherhood of Muscle. Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. Dodge is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
The Online Trading Academy is the leader in investing education, and they can help you generate income for today or your retirement. Attend one of their free 3-hour classes, and they'll send you home with a do-it-yourself investor's kit, preloaded with some of their most popular video-based investing courses. It's a thank you just for attending. Classes are all over Southern California, the West Side, San Fernando Valley, Orange County. They'll teach you how to trade just like the pros, learn how to create daily, weekly, or monthly income using Online Trading Academy's patented supply and demand strategy. All you have to do is give them a call. 888-991-TRADE. That's 888-991-8723 to attend and get 2 free passes to their 3-hour class so you can check everything out for yourself. And if you call right now, they'll send you home with their do-it-yourself investor's kit just for attending. It's loaded with exclusive investing courses and some of their best lessons from the pros. It's a limited time opportunity and seats go fast, so call right now. 888-991-TRADE, 888-991-TRADE, or visit them online at otaclass.com.
Every morning I get
Talk Radio 790 KBC. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and I'm one workplace lawyer that can personally attest to the fact that a Dodge Challenger with almost 500 horsepower is one of the best ways to get over the grapevine without missing a beat. And the 2500 diesel model truck will run at 75 miles an hour at under 2,000 RPM. So I am a Dodge man. I think we talked about that in one of the earlier episodes about sex discrimination, and on one on Father's Day also. So we're talking to a young lady who's been sexually harassed at a company. She's going to have her deposition taken in Century City. Dombass, the Brooklyn accent guy, who I don't really think's from Brooklyn, from episodes 18, is her lawyer. I'm not quite sure why, and I'm kind of wondering if I should get that guy on next week to set him straight again. I don't know if he's ripping off this lady. But anyways, we've got to get back to this conversation, Desiree.
Well, he said he was going to associate a real employment lawyer because he was busy with one case, his only case. He claims he's defending Lisa Glickman.
How and why that woman retained Dombass, continues to retain him, and why her husband hasn't stopped it, even as Lisa hasn't figured out Dombass is a poor excuse for a fictional lawyer, I do not understand.
Am I allowed to change lawyers before my deposition?
A client can change lawyers at any time. I'm just concerned how you would find someone on less than 14 hours notice on a Sunday night. I
want to get my deposition done.
Many employee lawyers say the goal of the plaintiff's deposition is just to get it done.
Dombass said you should go through with me whatever is on the CD-ROM.
This man clearly does nothing to represent a client. Luckily, my laptop is on. There are several large files on the CD-ROM. One of these doesn't open. Hey, is this going to give me a virus?
Fleemer Jr. really is your brother. Maybe you should call and ask him.
And Norton is advising against opening these files.
I heard Mr. Norton was a guest lecturer at the university.
I'm not affiliated with that institution, but I don't think he's odd enough to have generated their attention.
I heard that Pascal has taken a position there.
I presume this was reported in a newsprint magazine near a cash register. Pascal died over 300 years ago.
I know those click-throughs about read here are not always accurate, but this one didn't seem like fake news, like the New York Times, like printing all these anonymous things that sound like something you would write. And, well, I'm only 24, but this world is really as absurd as Remus Helms and virtual warehouses and people dying of boredom at work and presidents who have a secretary of diaper changes.
Yeah, the legal advice on this show is real, and so is 877-525-0700. That's the office number to talk to a real employee lawyer at the office where I am. 877-525-0700. Yes, 877-525-0700 for real legal advice. But the rest of the content on the show is not actual.
Yeah, I heard some people talking about the Zadi's advertisement you had on this show.
I'm a little shocked people thought that was a real sponsor. I was advertising two-toned OP shorts, which have not been in production since maybe 1984, and ditto pants, which were worn circa 1976 to 7, and a number of cassette tapes from 83 to 84 at Zodi's.
Maybe life is really as strange as this show.
Well, it definitely is. Recently, I was with a client, actually a rather smart, almost 24-year-old. He was talking about a music festival a rapper had that resulted in a lot of lawsuits. I told him about the creators of Woodstock, how they spent years in litigation after Woodstock. Then I decided I'd ask him if he'd ever heard of Woodstock, and he said no, and asked I asked him how old that he thought I might be, and told me he thought I was in my 50s, which I'm not yet. But even so, not too clear how I would have been at this music festival the year I was born when I said it was in 1969, and then he asked me if I was there at Woodstock. Yeah, life is kind of weird.
What was that called again? Was Wood?
Moving right along. You'll be shown documents in your deposition. Make sure you've read them before you start answering questions off the documents.
They are going to show me paper?
Yes, exhibits are pieces of paper. For instance, you might be shown your performance review from 2017. You should fully read it, because if you don't, you might assume it's your performance review from 2018.
I am not used to reading paper.
This could be a problem. I guess this could be a trick for young witnesses. Now, don't worry. Don't feel like you're stopping up the deposition, making everyone wait for you to read the document. It's okay. They expect you to read the document.
The problem is, well, I am dating a much older guy.
Only the relationship with your harasser is relevant. Your interest in older men, maybe the age of the harasser, that's not allowed. There's a privilege under the Evidence Code and a rule under the California Code of Civil Procedure which prohibits sexual assault and battery victims and victims of sexual harassment from being questioned about their sexual practices unrelated to the harasser or defendant.
Okay, well, he's not that old. He's just 33. Well, see, he took me to this freaky, scary event in the desert. Lots of older people trying to be now. This was 2 weeks ago. They burned this thing. Really stupid. Saturday night, everybody's all camping out in the desert, passing S out. Ever since, I can't see small stuff anymore. I can only see the big picture.
Yeah, print under 12 pica, it's unconscionable, but all the word processors, they try to do that. But seriously, in some of these depositions, they still ask people if they consumed any substances in the last 24 hours. Luckily, this was 2 weeks ago, the little experience you're telling us about, but they also ask if there's a reason why you can't give your best testimony. Do the side effects of your 2-week trip affect your judgment, or are you just permanently injured due to your consumption of a dangerous chemical you could have just said no to?
Just said no?
Yeah, I guess that phrase is too old for you too.
Am I still under the influence? I'd say so. The traffic back from Nevada was sick. We took a different route through Palmdale and then the 5 freeway. Something weird happened.
Yeah, a lot of weird things have happened in this very studio, given the guests I have on this show.
Really? What's the strangest thing that's happened?
You'll have to listen to old episodes on workplacelawyer.org or the Karl Gerber channel on YouTube or the Karl Gerber KABC site for this show or one of the 12 other streaming sites or more of these shows appear on.
Maybe that would help.
I certainly hope so.
Probably not, though. We were on the freeway around Santa Clarita, and then all of a sudden, well, maybe I fell asleep. It was like we were between the north and south lanes, a very narrow space, but there was a school there.
Are you sure you weren't listening last week, or are you just catching up listening to those old episodes?
I know listening to this show is the thing to do at the gym, but I only had time to listen to the episode with Remus Helms on the show. I mean, who wouldn't? That was a big celebrity appearance you had.
I don't actually believe there's a school between the north and south lanes and the 5 freeway in Santa Clarita. I gotta confess.
I am telling you, I was there.
That's the other thing about depositions. Don't just volunteer things. Don't bring things up not asked.
You don't want me to talk about the school between the 5 freeway lanes?
It has nothing to do with your case. It's incredibly weird, and there's no record of a school operating between the north and south lanes on the 5 freeway in Santa Clarita.
Are you saying this is an urban myth? Because no, I was there.
I wonder if Cindy D went to Burning Man and took the same thing you did.
Oh, you don't want me to talk about the school between the 5 freeway lanes, do you?
I'm not sure how else she could get through a long day of phone sex operating with a bunch of nasty men who don't even have smartphones. Oops, we just lost a bunch of listeners.
I wonder... Are you saying that this is just an urban myth?
I already told you I don't think that there's a school between the north and south lanes on the 5 freeway.
Well, I was there, and I saw
Yes,
it.
you told us that you were there, and we're starting to repeat ourselves, my friend. I think that in a deposition, you need to answer to the questions. It's kind of like your purse. What color is your purse? It's red. It's not like why it got red, how it got red. Let me tell you about my weird background the defense lawyer never would have asked about. So, yeah.
Are they going to ask me about that thing I took?
If you testify you have recently undergone a life-changing physical problem, they might ask how. If you're claiming emotional distress, they will ask if anything else might have caused the emotional distress.
That gathering in the desert did a number on me. I think I lost my hair thing.
Okay, this is getting weird. I think we need to break, figure out what this woman is talking about with losing her hair thing, figure out about why she's talking about school between the north and south lanes and the 5 freeway, and we get back to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. Maybe we'll find out.
You can make a lot of noise about boys being boys, or realize that's just lies and misdirection.
The Employment Lawyers Group is a results-driven law firm whose goal is to get the right result for the client. They have represented employees with a high rate of success since 1993 throughout the state of California. They're only paid and if they are able to collect money from the employer, so there's not any upfront fees or costs in order to hire them. They have represented thousands of employees who've been terminated from their jobs, sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or are owed wages in an individualized or group basis such as a class action. Call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have operators standing by. They can also be reached at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Hire them and make your workplace problem theirs to solve.
This is Behind the Mic with Brad Dalius.
Hey, it's Brad Dalius, host of Behind the Mic, and we're wrapping up your day with your favorite LA sports teams, the latest buzz in national sports, and more. Weeknights at 11 on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Love Pachanga? Help make Pachanga Resort and Casino America's #1 casino by voting in USA Today's 10 Best Reader poll. Vote now at pachanga.com/vote. Help rock the vote at pachanga.com/vote.
Take control of your life and your financial future. Tune in to Women, Money, and Power with Jason Reynolds and Carrie Kasem every Sunday morning at 7. That's Women, Money, and Power right here on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your returns, the IRS will get you. They can take your property, take you to court, even put you in jail. With one call to Wall, you'll never need to talk to the IRS again. Our average client settles for about 10% of what is owed. We offer free face-to-face consultations in your local area. Call 800-727-0433. That's 800-727-0433.
We are News. Talk. Evolve. 790 KABC.
Every morning I get up before that
Talk Radio, Step 90, KABC. I'm Karl Gerber. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. And I have a guest here, and we're talking about depositions. And it's starting to get a little bit weird. And she's telling me about schools between the freeway and something about losing a hairdo. So,
The use of hair, Desiree, it has to be carefully controlled. Are you concerned someone got your hair and put it in a handkerchief with your skin fragments, which will spoil?
I lost my hairdo.
I hope it isn't found by somebody indiscriminate.
It's a problem if I can't do my hair for a few days.
This is a relevant subject matter.
Do you know what a totem is? Token?
I presume we aren't talking about Sega tokens from the defunct Sega Center at the Sherman Oaks Galleria?
Oh, my God. Did you actually go there? I saw that place in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, I believe Captain Leemerites had a Velcro shoe wallet attached to his K-Swiss in which he kept arcade tokens.
Wait, I thought you were Captain Leemerites.
We can't keep getting into that in every show. Besides, what have you heard about the Lemur Brothers and the Sega Center at the Sherman Oaks Galleria if you didn't know the festival you were at was called Burning Man?
The Lemur Brothers are a lot more important than the stuff that started in the 90s.
I'd say so. They ruled the bandwidth before there was an organized internet.
At my deposition, are they going to ask me about the sexual harassment?
Yeah, I sure hope so. But the way some of these defense lawyers are, they're only interested in finding out if you got the dates wrong for a job you have on your resume 10 years ago.
I put down I was the manager of a hot dog on a stick when I was in the 11th grade over the summer. I only became the assistant manager the next summer before I started college.
Where was this put down?
It's on my resume.
Not sure of the significance of you managing a hot dog on the stick for the job you're suing where you were an administrative assistant after college, but at any rate, come clean in your deposition. Your deposition's under oath. Tell nothing but the truth. Your admission that you fibbed on the resume might make some people think you're more credible, but others might not think so.
Dombass told me something about after-acquired evidence. He said because of this after-acquired evidence, he wanted a higher percent in addition to his hourly and a higher hourly, too.
Yeah, unless Dombass is charging you a completely under market hourly rate, he shouldn't be taking a percent also. After acquired evidence is a truly stupid doctrine that I've never seen used effectively since I first became aware of it early on in my career.
Dombass is charging me $300 an hour plus 15%. All of the other lawyers wanted 40%.
Dombass, he's not worth more than $300 an hour, and he's been known to overbill, to say the least. 40% of the settlement that includes potential attorney fees the other side has to pay of maybe $50,000 to $200,000, when your claim might only be worth $75,000. It's sort of like you getting 40% of the half or third of the $50,000 to $200,000, which is basically a gift to you. So you're getting 60% of the money your attorney would be awarded and you couldn't get if there was a real trial.
What about after acquired evidence?
Yeah, it's supposed to mean that had the employer materially relied on you being a manager and not an assistant manager a year before you became an assistant manager, and you can convince a judge the employer never would have hired you, but for the fact you can't get lost wages because you never would have had the job in the first place.
Gee, that's a lot of what ifs.
Now, tell me about it. That's why it never goes anywhere other than padding the defense lawyer's bills for frats and motions that are lost.
How can a company prove what it would have done years earlier had it known of a fact it did not know of until it was found out about in the case?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyone can declare they would have had a different life had they not done something they didn't know about before they did it, but how in the world can that be proven by a preponderance of the evidence?
What are they going to ask about the sexual harassment?
Well, they should ask you how many times each type of sexual harassment occurred and what the facts are. If I were examining you on direct examination, I'd ask you how these events made you feel. They might.
I didn't want to walk around with a notebook when all this happened.
And nobody does, and they don't want to take on notes either.
The first time Alan assuaged my anger about my 5-hour-and-a-quarter drive, I thought he was being kind. I didn't even think the shoulder massage was sexual harassment.
They should ask you about who you told about the harassment, like coworkers, supervisors, managers.
Until I complained to Human Resources and never came back to work, there's only one person in the company I trusted and told about the sexual harassment when it was still happening.
Was this person a manager or supervisor?
He was a manager, but not of me.
Managers put the company on notice of sexual harassment.
Well, he didn't manage people. Well, he managed one person, but he was the head of the department. His job was so important that they wanted him to focus on his job and not the running of a bunch of people.
If he managed something critical to the company's business, he might even be a managerial agent.
Now, he's got a whole floor in the Twin Towers. When I was there was an accounting firm also on the floor, but now the company has the whole floor.
Is this a large department?
It's the most important department in the company.
You didn't work in this department, though, did you?
Well, I sure wanted to. I asked for a transfer away from Alan, but they said I just wanted to be in that other department. Everybody did.
What did this guy do whose department now takes up a whole floor?
It's kind of a boring, but it's a very important thing. He manages a database.
What kind of a database?
Well, if I told you, you would laugh.
Oh, come on. I've heard all sorts of things in practice, not to mention certifiably loony guests I've had on this show.
Don't take this wrong. It's a little embarrassing.
Yeah, embarrassment's a common emotional reaction to sexual harassment.
This manager was so gentle, and not in a sexual way or anything. He was a newlywed, just a nice guy. His wife is super lucky.
What did you tell him about the sexual harassment?
When I first met him and found out what was going on his floor, I was a little bit, well, not grossed out, but perplexed is the word.
Yeah, I think we need to get to the bottom of this. A very important database, a whole floor now devoted to it. The guy in charge can only manage one person because what he does is so important. He doesn't work for Remus Helms, does he? You're a little squeamish on the whole thing.
Well, I guess I can say it on the radio. They advertise these things all the time on TV. Anyway, he managed the most important database. At least I've heard it might be the most important database in America.
Does this have something to do with the tabulating the names of the women Trump had affairs and paid off?
If you can believe this, the database tracks the use of every single sanitary napkin used in the United States. Don't even ask me how this is done, but it is. The government is paying the company $750 million a year to maintain this database.
Would this fine gent happen to be named Chap?
Yeah, that's him. You probably read about this in the sanitary. Oh, I bet you don't read that rag. Maybe you heard about this on the Huffington Post or somewhere?
Would you believe Chap Shtick and his wife Star Bright have been on this very show, sat where you're sitting?
I know there's been a lot of media coverage on the government contract the company won. Yeah, this is an important live radio show. It's like the Today Show. I'm sure you get a lot of people like Chap.
Oh, yeah, lots of people like Chap and his old manager, Molly Machete, and even his wife's sister.
Starlight? She's terrible. I heard Ryan Seacrest commenting that she is to blame for Hanita Orchid Helms' death. Her having to go to that completely boring company, XIO 415, and dying of boredom.
Yeah, let's just say Starlight twinkled out of here after she came in here pretending to have been the one with the job at Nouvelle Vague, novelty toys that Hanita really held, and Starlight planned to be a ghost candle designer in.
You want to hear something really disgusting? Would you believe that there's a video on the internet of Starlight being conceived in the Radio Shack at the old Laura Plaza Mall? How gross.
Yeah, we talked about that video on the last show, and apparently she was able to date the filming of a video by Boxes, Starlight's parents were. I can't say on this show.
Oh yeah, I've seen that video. Not that I wanted to see it or anything, but a bunch of us were drinking at Bar Bandini over in Echo Park after a Dodger game. My boyfriend's friends started talking about the video. He's a computer nerd. He hacked into a flat screen in the bar and started broadcasting it. The whole place was busting up.
All right, this is where we have to end these kind of things. We keep getting back to content like Starlight and these weird videos. And, I'm a serious lawyer. I got 3 trials or something in the next 45 days. I got real cases. If you want to call me about real cases about employment law, sexual harassment, class actions for unpaid wages, wrongful termination, you can do that at 877-525-0700. Once again, 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. I hope to have you back next week for another episode of the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. Thanks for listening.
Boys being boys, realize that's just lies and misdirection. You could sputter and squawk, it's just locker room talk. Well, that worked in the last election. How many times before have we thought we won this war? Then nope, our hopes kept.
This show furnished by Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.